Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai.
Jai.
Vrindavan Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Ganga Mai ki jai.
Jai.
Jamuna Mai ki jai.
Jai.
Sri Devi ki jai.
Jai.
Bhakti Devi ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Prem Anande.
Hari Hari Bol.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Shami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We're reading Sri Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila chapter 1. Here we are, text 44. We didn't finish this last time, Krishna Kirtan Prabhu?
No.
Okay. All right. Mother Sutapa?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Hare Krishna. Text 44. গোপাল চম্পু নামে গ্রন্থ মহাসুর নিত্য লীলা স্থাপন যাহে ব্রজরসপুর.
The most famous and formidable transcendental literature is the book named Gopal Champu. In this book, the eternal pastimes of the Lord are established, and the transcendental mellows enjoyed in Vrindavan are completely described. Purport. This is a long purport, so I'll read a little bit. I'll ask others to read also. In his Anubhashya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following information about the Gopal Champu. The Gopal Champu is divided into two parts. The first part is called the Eastern Wave, and the second part is called the Northern Wave. In the first part, there are 33 supplications. And in the second part, 37 supplications. If somebody would look up the word supplications, that'd be good, so we could know. I'm not sure exactly what that means. In the first part, completed in 1510 Shakabda, which is AD 1588, that's about 40 years after Lord Chaitanya's, 50 years after Lord Chaitanya's disappearance, the following subject matters are discussed. Vrindavan and Goloka. 2. The killing of the Putana demon. the gopis returning home under the instructions of Mother Jashoda. The bathing of Lord Krishna and Balaram, Snigdakanta and Madhukanta. 3. The dream of Mother Jashoda. 4. The Janmashtami ceremony. 5. The meeting between Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev, and the killing of the Putana demon. 6. The pastimes of awakening from bed, the deliverance of the demon Shaka, and the name-giving ceremony. 7. The killing of the Trinavarta demon, Lord Krishna eating dirt, Lord Krishna's childish naughtiness, and Lord Krishna as a thief. 8. Churning of the yogurt, Krishna's drinking from the breast of Mother Jashoda, the breaking of the yogurt pot, Krishna bound with ropes, the deliverance of the two brothers Jamalarjun, and the lamentation of Mother Jashoda. 9. Entering Sri Vrindavan. 10. The killing of Vatsasur, Bakasur, and Vyomasur. 11. The killing of Aghasur and the bewilderment of Lord Brahma. 12. The tending of the cows in the forest. 13. Taking care of the cows and chastising the Kaliya serpent. 14. The killing of Gardabhashura, the ass demon, and the praise of Krishna. 15. The previous attraction of the gopis. 16. The killing of Pralambasura and the eating of the forest fire. 17. The gopis' attempt to approach Krishna. 18. The lifting of Govardhan Hill. 19. Bathing Krishna with milk. 20. The return of Nanda Maharaj from the custody of Varuna and the vision of Goloka Vrindavan by the Gopas. 21. The appearance, the performance of the rituals of Katyayani Vrat and the worship of the goddess Durga. 22. The begging of food from the wives of the Brahmanas performing sacrifices. 23. The meeting of Krishna and the gopis. 24. Krishna is enjoying the company of the gopis, the disappearance of Radha and Krishna from the scene, and the search for them by the gopis. 25. The reappearance of Krishna. 26. The determination of the gopis. 27. Pastimes in the waters of the Jamuna. 28. The deliverance of Nanda Maharaj from the clutches of the serpent. 29. Various pastimes in solitary places. 30. The killing of Shankachud and the Hori. 31. The killing of Arishtashur. 22. The killing of Keshi demon. 33. The appearance of Sri Narad Muni and a description of the year in which the book was completed. I don't want to go into the second part without, if somebody wants to make a comment or a question here about this first part, I'll just say, Om Agyana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupa Kadamakyam Dadati Shapandantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before speaking, I would like to get permission and blessings from all devotees, particularly those who are senior by age and or advancement in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. So, do you have any questions about these supplications? The 37, sorry. How many, the first part, there are 33 supplications. So these are 33 supplications. Did anybody find supplications definition? No? Okay, that's all right.
I can find.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
And the action of asking or begging for something earnestly or humbly.
The action of begging for something. Action. Yeah. Oh, okay. Earnestly. So it's a prayer. It's like a prayer.
Hare Krishna
Humble-
Prabhu. Yeah, that's what I found. It says a humble and earnest prayer as in worship, a humble petition, an earnest request, and entreaty, a religious solemnity observed in consequence of some military success, and also in times of distress and danger to avert the anger of the gods.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like prayer, also prayer.
Yes. Thank you both. Yeah. So these are request prayers in relation to these different pastimes of Lord Krishna. This is during his Vrindavan Lila. So there's quite a few, and they're one after another, remembering the pastimes of Krishna and understanding them in truth is this method for an important method for becoming Krishna conscious and going back home, back to Godhead. That's one of the reasons why we have these classes, is to remember these activities and not only the activities but also the instructions of Lord Krishna. As Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, which many of you know this verse, a very famous verse, Janma Karma. How does it go?
Chame dibbam. Evam
Janma Karma
yoga
Chame Divyam. Yeah. Next line.
Tekta deho punarjanmam noiti mameti sahaj.
Yeah. Janma Karma Chame Divyam. Evam yo veti tatvata. Veti tatvata means to know this janma and karma, the birth and the activities, in truth. In truth means really understanding, not superficially understanding it. So these descriptions given in the Gopal Champu in the supplication form help us to further understand the activities and pastimes of Lord Krishna. And somehow I got my screen went blank just now. I don't know what that means. Other questions you have?
You cannot see anything? The
I
screen?
can't see a thing. This happens every once in a while for some reason. I have no idea.
You need a sponsorship for new laptop.
Yeah, no, I don't know why. But anyway, so other questions or observations about this?
Well, this is compiled by the ways for Jiva Goswami then.
Yes, we heard about the books of Sanatan Goswami and Jiva Goswami. I mean, Sanatan Goswami and Rupa Goswami, and so now these are the books of Jiva Goswami. Yeah, go ahead.
And can we understand, is this many pastimes, did Prabhupada must have taken these pastimes from in Krishna book also, from here to Krishna book, or no?
The Krishna book is a summary study of the 10th canto. So if you read the 10th canto shlokas, you'll find most of these, not all, but most of these pastimes are described there. the Gopal Champu will give additional understanding of some of those pastimes in supplication form. And some of that information will be included in some of the purports that you find in the Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Prabhupada, and also by the rest of the 10th canto commentary, either in the Krishna book or in the commentary given after Srila Prabhupada left in the later part of the 10th canto. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sometimes devotees explain the meaning of killing the demons, which is a demoniac mentality of living entity. So that may be coming from Gopala Champa, what is the meaning of Pralambasura, killing of Pralambasura, the purpose and meaning. So is it that details comes from this book, Gopala Champa?
I don't know about that, but I do know that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has commented on some of the pastimes like that. So that is coming from, at least some of that, if not all, is coming from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Whether he got it from the Gopal Champu, I don't know. It's a good question. And I believe one ISKCON devotee maybe has translated some of the Gopal Champu. Of course, it's a little tricky to fully understand everything there, if one isn't a fully realized soul. But so Bhaktivinoda Thakur said things like, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur quoted by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, for example, that the Putana represents the false guru. You've heard that before? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. So as far as I know, though, Srila Prabhupada never said that. So I'm a little cautious about saying, but those equivalencies are given sometimes, and that's by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur quoting Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And it may be in the Gopal Champu, but I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you. But I hear devotees give explanations of different pastimes, especially the killings of demons is compared with different demoniac tendencies. I was just curious.
Yeah. So I mean, I know devotees do that, and I'm a little cautious about that, just because I never heard Srila Prabhupada say that. You follow? So what about that? So I certainly Srila Prabhupada knew from the, he knew the commentaries of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was aware of those, but for whatever reason, he didn't, as far as I know, he didn't mention those things. So one might be cautious about saying those things, For example, I'll give another example. Sometimes devotees say that Lord Ramchandra, the Lord Ramchandra from the Ramayana, actually appeared in the 24th Yuga cycle of this day, of this day of, what was it, Manu? Yeah. 24th Yuga cycle of this day of Brahma. I'm sorry. Have you heard that before?
Yes.
Anybody?
Yes.
Have you heard that? Yeah. And in fact, 2 years ago, Dhruta Karma Prabhu, who's my godbrother, I asked him to give a class on Ram Nomi it was during the pandemic, about Lord Ramchandra, since, there's a interesting question, because if Lord Ramchandra was so many millions of years ago, and modern science says that Homo sapiens, fully developed human beings, have only been around on the planet for at most 100,000 years. So how do you equate those two things? So he gave a class on it, and in the class he said that Lord Ramchandra actually appeared in the 24th Yuga cycle. So many, that's past Treta Yuga. So then I didn't question him at the time, but I called him up and I said, in the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 1st verse, purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions, quoting the Mahabharata and other scriptures, that Lord Ramchandra was about 2 million years ago. Maybe you recall this right? Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you equate those two things? So then he quoted the Lagu Bhagavatamrita. Lagu Bhagavatamrita is a summary of some parts of the Srimad Bhagavatam by Rupa Goswami. And in one verse of the Lagu Bhagavatamrita, Rupa Goswami says the son of Dasharatha and Kaushalya appeared in the 24th Yuga cycle of this day of Brahma. So he, on the basis of that, he said what he said. You following now so far? You
Yeah.
follow? So,
Two different references. You mean?
Yeah. So we had a discussion about it, and so he agreed that, well, it's certainly a difference of opinion. Of course, if you read the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Lord Ramchandra's Lila is summarized by Shukadev Goswami, you'll find in the purports there, Srila Prabhupada quotes extensively from the Lagu Bhagavatamrita, showing that Lord Ramachandra has appeared many times, not just one time. Sometimes he appears as Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, and sometimes he appears as Narayan with his brothers as Chakra, Shankha, Gada. So many times. So it's not necessarily inconsistent with him appearing in the last Treta Yuga, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So just if one takes information from other translations that weren't given by Srila Prabhupada, one just should be cautious about making sure that it doesn't contrast or contradict some of the instructions or information that Srila Prabhupada has given us, if that makes sense. For example, another example, some places it said in the Gopal Champu that Shukadev Goswami, his eternal position is as a parrot of Srimati Radharani. Have you heard that before? Have you heard that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so people say that, they go say that. But if you look in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the information that we have from Srimad Bhagavatam, it says there that he was a Brahmavadi in the womb of his mother. He stayed there for so many years because he didn't want to come out, because he didn't want to be in Maya coming out, right? And then he was assured by Lord Krishna himself. So then he came out. So how is it that the parrot of Lord Krishna, of Srimati Radharani, can become a Brahmavadi or a Mayavadi, and Brahmavadi particularly? How is it consistent? You follow?
Yeah.
So one should be very careful about that. I mean, there may be some way it's consistent. It may be some kind of Lila or whatever, but we should first take the information given, take that very seriously given by the Srila Prabhupada, since he's our Shiksha Guru for all of ISKCON. And then we can consider those other points, but we should consider them in relation with the information that we've already gotten from Srila Prabhupada, and be careful if it might contradict that, or seem to contradict that anyway, if that makes sense.
Yeah, understood. Basically, Guru Sadhu Shastra, whatever you do, it has to be consistent, and everything should be matching what Prabhupada's stating. That's the reason.
In ISKCON, we give first preference to what Srila Prabhupada said. Another example, so I was listening to a class and a devotee was saying that Kubja, Kubja in Krishna's Lila, when he goes to Mathura, then she's a hunchback, and Krishna tells, give me that sandalwood, I think it is. And so he straightens her up. And so that Kubja was, he says, that was Bali Maharaj, no, Bali Maharaj's sister, And that's said in some Purana. Some Purana says that. But if you look in Srimad Bhagavatam, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary says that she was a partial incarnation of Satyabhama. Isn't that interesting? So what is that? So how do you understand those two things? Very difficult to understand. But one should be cautious. Another point is that Krishna appears not just in this one day of Brahma. He appears once in a day of Brahma. And as I said, Ramchandra appears more than once in a day of Brahma in different ways. So sometimes the activities are being described may not be from the same manifestation. Do you follow? So they could have been, this could have been the last incarnation, the last avatar that when Krishna appeared, not necessarily this one. There's a certain Sanskrit term for that, where they say, but I don't remember that Sanskrit term. It means sometimes there's differences in the description of the pastimes because of the different times that Lord Krishna or various incarnations have appeared in different yuga cycles or different millennia, if that makes sense. You follow?
Yes, because Lord's in other incarnations, there are many times, and Lord Krishna's incarnation is once in a day, but still yet once in a day of Brahma. But that also every Brahma has so many days, so many years, 365,
Yes.
100 years he has it. So, I think that's a good thing. The Acharyas has kind of assimilated and said, many times that these pastimes, including Varahadev, also made it very clear. Sukadeva Goswami made it clear that is referring to two kalpas.
Two kalpas, yeah. 2 different days. So from that, we know that the information contained in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas is not only from this kalpa always. Not only from this kalpa, right? That's kind of mind-blowing because each kalpa is 4,320,000,000 years.
Yeah.
That's the day. And then there's another night like that long. So kind of shocking. Going to get information from billions of years ago. Okay. Krishna Kirtan Prabhu, could you read? I'm going to reboot, so hopefully I can get my screen back up. So I can't read it now. Could you read the second paragraph there?
I will. I can.
I'll be right back.
Unless anyone else, you please come back. Anyone else wants to read? Just wanted to give others opportunity. Okay, I will read it. If no one, thank you. In the second part, known as Uttara Champu, the following subject matters are discussed. Attraction for Brajabhumi. 2. The cruel activities of Akrura. 3. Krishna's departure for Mathura. 4. A description of city of Mathura. 5. The killing of Kamsa. 6. Nanda Maharaj's separation from Krishna and Balram. 7. Nanda Maharaj's entrance into Vrindavan without Krishna and Balram. 8. The studies of Krishna and Balram. 9. How the son of the teacher of Krishna and Balram was returned. 10. Uddhava's visit to Vrindavan. 11. Radharani is talking with a messenger bumblebee. 12. The return of Uddhava from Vrindavan. 13. The binding of Jarasandha. 14. The killing of the Yavana Jarasandha. 15. The marriage of Balaram. 16. The marriage of Rukmini. 17. 7 marriages. 18. The killing of Narakasura, the taking of the Parijata flower from heaven, and Krishna's marriage to 16,000 princesses. 19. Victory over Banasur. 20. A description of Balram's return to Braja. 21. The killing of Paundrak, the imitation Vishnu. 22. The killing of Divida and thoughts of Hastinapur. 23. Departure for Kurukshetra. 24. How the residents of Vrindavan and Dwarka met at Kurukshetra. 25. Krishna's consultation with Uddhava. 26. The deliverance of the king. 27. The performance of the Rajasuya sacrifice. 28. The killing of Salva. 29. Krishna's considering returning to Vrindavan. 30. Krishna's revisiting Vrindavan. 31. The adjustment of obstructions by Srimati Radharani and others. 32. Everything completed. 33. The residence of Radha and Madhava. 34. Decorating Srimati Radharani and Krishna. 35. The marriage ceremony of Srimati Radharani and Krishna. 36. The meeting of Srimati Radharani and Krishna. And 37. Entering Goloka.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions or observations or comments about this list, the second part of Uttara, known as Uttara Champu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
I have one question. What we heard, Krishna never returned back to Vrindavan, but here it says that Krishna has returned to revisit in Vrindavan. That's what
Yes.
it's a
Yes.
question.
So how is it that Krishna has returned to Vrindavan? So there's a description in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam that when Lord Krishna went to Kurukshetra, and we'll read about this a little bit later, he met the residents of Vrindavan there. He actually invited them there. And they requested, especially Srimati Radharani and the Gopis, requested him to come to Vrindavan. And he said, yeah, sure. But he left then after that, even though in the Krishna book and the Srimad Bhagavatam it was before, but it was actually after that was the Rajasuya sacrifice. And he left the Rajasuya sacrifice to take care of Shalva. Shalva was harassing Dwaraka. So he went and he killed Shalva, he liberated Shalva. And then right after that, Narada Muni told him, well, you know, Shishupal's friend Dantavakra is causing trouble and he wants to fight with you. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam and in the Krishna book, it appears that that happened somewhere near Dwarka. Narada Muni was speaking to Krishna there. But the commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says actually what Narada was telling Lord Krishna, that Dantavakra, he was itching for a fight, but Dantavakra, his kingdom was very close to Mathura. So Lord Krishna had to leave Dwarka to go to fight Dantavakra. There's actually a town right outside of Mathura called Dantiha, which is the place, apparently, it's said that place is where Krishna killed Dantavakra. So anyway, Krishna took permission from the residents of Dwarka to go to kill Dantavakra. Usually the residents of Dwarka were worried that if Krishna goes to Vrindavan, that he will, the devotees there have such tremendous love for him that he'll stay. So they were very reticent to let him go to Vrindavan. But for this business, for killing the demon, he said, okay, yeah, you go ahead, take care. So when he went to this place outside of Mathura, there was a fight between Dantavakra and Lord Krishna. It went on for some time. Finally, Dantavakra was killed. At that time, he took the opportunity to go to Vrindavan. This is in the commentary by Vishnugada Chakravarti Thakur in the 10th canto. We don't see it in the Krishna book. So that's also described here. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji, yes, thank you.
It contrasts the idea that Krishna never returned to Vrindavan, but apparently after his meeting at Kurukshetra and the Rajasuya sacrifice, he returned briefly.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Other questions or observations? I had a question about 35. The marriage ceremony of Srimati Radharani and Krishna. What about that?
Mhm.
Nobody's interested in that? You never heard of the marriage that Radha and Krishna got married?
I heard it. They got married in very young age, not that later part, but
We
they
also
got.
hear that Srimati Radharani was married to a person named Abhimanyu, not the son of Arjun, but a different person named Abhimanyu. Never heard that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. I heard. I read that also that Abhimanyu is the shadow of Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I'd read here because about this. This is the Caitanya Caritamrita Adi Lila 10th chapter, verse 85 purport. According to another accusation, this is in the description of Srila Jiva Goswami. Srila Jiva Goswami did not approve of the principles of Parakya Ras of Rajdam. Parakya Ras means unmarried relation with Krishna's relations with unmarried gopis, or not married to him, and therefore supported Svakya Ras. You got that? What was the accusation? The accusation is he didn't approve of Parakya Ras, showing that Radha and Krishna, and he showed that Radha and Krishna are eternally married. Actually, when Jiva Goswami was alive, some of his followers disliked the Parakya Ras of the gopis. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami, for their spiritual benefit, supported Svakya Ras. Means marriage, married relations. For he could understand that Sahajiyas would otherwise exploit the Parakya Ras as they are actually doing at present. Unfortunately, in Vrindavan and Navadvip, it has become fashionable among Sahajiyas in their debauchery to find an unmarried sexual partner to live with to execute so-called devotional service in Parakya Ras. Foreseeing this, Srila Jiva Goswami supported Svakya Ras, and later all the Vaishnavacharyas also approved of it, but Srila Jiva Goswami was never opposed to the transcendental Parakya Ras, nor has any other Vaishnav disapproved of it. Srila Jiva Goswami strictly followed his predecessor gurus and Vaishnavas, Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami accepted him as one of his instructor gurus. You follow? So, and then another purport, the Parakya Ras of the spiritual world should not be discussed except by one who is very advanced in devotional service. The Parakya Ras in the spiritual world and that in the material world are not comparable. The former is like gold and the latter is like iron, because the difference between the two is so great they cannot actually be compared. However, just as a knowledgeable person cannot easily distinguish gold from iron, one who has the proper realization can easily distinguish the transcendental activities of the spiritual world from material activities. So I just mentioned that because it seemed to be, to me, to be consistent with what's being said here. Does that make sense? Anybody? No? Did I put you all to sleep? Sorry.
Yes, Prabhu.
So
Thing is,
go ahead.
you mentioned that Jiva Goswami supported Sokya Rasa because
Yes.
of the conditioning of this material world. People will, so that they can very easily accept. But doesn't mean that he did not support the Parakya Rasa.
Yes.
This,
Yes.
this is for just to make other people understand, realize, very easily accept. So he presented Sokya Rasa, so that
Yes.
things should not go in the unnecessarily controversial, rather focus on continuation of spiritual journey, I believe.
Yes. So it's very interesting. And then that other quote I said, only someone very advanced doesn't should be discussing, this Parakya Rasa and things like that. So how is it that it's included in the Parakya Rasa is given in the Krishna book and in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna book, and also in Lord Chaitanya's activities, you'll find some quite elaborate descriptions of some of these kind of activities. So what do you make of that? How come Srila Prabhupada included that?
You wanted to give, that's, I think, ultimately Lord Chaitanya is giving these teachings, the highest form of love, the gopis with Krishna in the purest form. So if you don't give, then the students, as a students, will be bereft of that Lord's and that position of the gopis and Krishna.
Yes, and also, so if Srila Prabhupada didn't give it, then people will have all this, they'll imagine or get misled by other people commenting about this. So he gave it in the Krishna book and Krishna's pastimes there, but so to give us the right understanding, when we become elevated enough to understand it properly, but not that we should focus on that or discuss it elaborately, if that makes sense.
One thing I want to share, that recently in morning Srimad Bhagavatam, early morning, somehow it is in the 10th canto now. So I have another.
Is that where the job meeting is? Yeah.
So somehow it's in 10th canto. So I'm realizing that some of the devotees, when in the 10th canto is talking about the relationship between Krishna and gopis, no, they are not able to. Some of devotees think only because our conditioning is the bodily platform only, so they think that everything is bodily. But
Yes.
but Krishna already made it. His position is Janma Karma Chame Divyam. In his activities and appearances, Divya, transcendental, and the gopis also on the transcendental platform. So because of our conditioning, we know only this. It's inconceivable for many souls, what platform these relationships are being mentioned, Parakya Rasa.
Yes. And it happens even within ISKCON, even with devotees who have been devotees for decades. We can fall into this misidentification, with the body and with thinking that Krishna's activities are material and that we can have our gopis and all that kind of thing. So it's a very, on one hand, the instruction is that woman is like fire and man is like butter, so one has to be very careful, very cautious in those kinds of activities. But Krishna's transcendental activities are a completely different nature. Like Srila Prabhupada compared it to, Krishna's activities are like gold and our material activities are like iron. They're both metal, but they're not the same quality. We tend to forget that. So what is our method? We hear about it, we can try to understand it in a small part. We can hear about it, but then we're not going to become very involved in it. We can focus our understanding on first understand we're not the physical body made of mucus, bile, and air, and Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Our job, our focus in this life is to really learn how to sincerely serve him as much as possible and not try to enjoy Krishna's pastimes or try to imitate him. Those are cautions. So Srikadev Goswami gives the same cautions. Srila Prabhupada gave those cautions too. Good, thank you.
But one more thing, even though
Okay.
we theoretically we hear Krishna's transcendental position and activities, okay. Now we read the 10th canto. Somehow we still generally see that people still think that in the material platform only. That's Krishna's position. Not even Krishna's position. When it comes to Radharani's position and Gopi's position, still many think in the material platform only. Krishna is transcendental, and Radharani also perception and Gopi's perception is made of blood and flesh. That's the understanding. So okay, if Krishna doesn't have last desire, maybe the Gopi has a last desire. That understanding is also there. So what do you want to say?
Yes, we still have, that's why we have to continue regularly hearing Bhagavad Gita, etc. Lord Chaitanya, he was a sannyasi, and he had wives, first wife Lakshmi Priya, second wife, but he never involved in conjugal relations with them. And he was such a strict person that even his female followers had to offer obeisances, dandavats, from a distance. But he's exalting the gopis as the best devotees, and Srimati Radharani, the best devotees of Krishna. So that should show us that those gopis, they're not material. It's not a material involvement. The attraction of the gopis towards Krishna. What do you say?
It takes time and really contemplate and realize what is the spiritual platform Krishna is talking about, Divya. Even the one can be manifesting appearing as a material body, and it's a transcendental body, and activities are transcendental because we don't have that realization. So still we come to the platform of matter and compare things.
Yes. That's why Krishna repeatedly says in Bhagavad Gita, Ajopi san avyayatma, bhutanam ishvaropi san, prakrityam swam adhishtaya. You know that verse? Ajopi, although I'm unborn, avyayatma, and my transcendental body never deteriorates. And although I'm the Lord of all sentient beings, still I appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Avajananti ma mudha, manusam tanumashrita. People who are mudhas, mudha is a strong word. They think I've have assumed this form and personality. It's they don't know my supreme dominion over all that be. So these verses are really important for us to consider, to meditate on, to try to understand accurately in truth what is Krishna's pastimes, and particularly those pastimes where he appears to be transgressing the rules of mundane moral behavior.
Yeah.
When Krishna steals, where did he get he would go to his neighbor's house, and he'd steal the yogurt and butter. But he so therefore he's called Makancho. But his stealing is wonderful. But ordinarily thieves are put in jail, isn't it? Well, you could say, oh, he's a little, he was just a little kid. So, but still, they have juvenile homes for kids who are delinquents in that way. Does that make sense? But Krishna is on a different level. Bhoktayam Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvalokamaheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatvaman Shantimichtiti. He's the enjoyer of everything, all sacrifices, all austerities, etc. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's do one more verse here. What is this verse? Next verse.
Yes.
Text 45. এই মত গ্রন্থে করিয়া প্রকাশ গোষ্ঠী সহিতে কইলা বৃন্দাবনে বাস।
Thus, Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and their nephew, Srila Jiva Goswami, as well as practically all of their family members, lived in Vrindavan and published important books on devotional service. Text 40, we'll do another one more verse. Okay.
প্রথম বৎসরে অদ্বৈততাদি ভক্তগণ প্রভুরে দেখিতে কইল নীলাদ্রি গমন।
Translation. The first year after Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order of life, all the devotees, headed by Sri Advaita Prabhu, went to see the Lord at Jagannath Puri. Well, this Madhya Lila is here. This point is summarizing Lord Chaitanya's later pastimes. And the first part is the Madhya Lila, second part is Antya Lila. So I have some homework for you, the audience today, the hearers today. You see this this verse. The first year after Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order of life, all the devotees headed by Sri Advaita Prabhu went to see the Lord at Jagannath Puri. Okay. So here's my homework for you. You might write it down. If you just do this before next week's class, because we'll have a discussion on this, okay? If you go to the Madhya Lila, chapter 7, Madhya Lila, chapter 7, there's an introduction. Oh, look at this. Look at what we got. No, don't look at it. No, we're not going to do it now. You don't have to do it now.
Okay.
Because I'm giving people homework, devotees homework. There's an introduction to the Madhya Lila, chapter 7, and it describes Lord Chaitanya, what he did right after he took sannyas. It's given, what month and all that stuff. Okay, Madhya Lila, chapter 7, and then there's another verse, Madhya Lila, 16th chapter, 84th verse. 16th chapter, 84th verse, that also has some bearing on this statement here by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So I'd like you to think about, check those up and see what you think, how they're consistent with this verse, and we'll discuss it next time. Is that okay?
Prabhuji, you said chapter 7 and verse number. Was there
No
any
verse, no verse. There's an introduction.
Introduction, okay.
Introduction,
yeah.
which is I believe either Anubhashya or Amrita Prabha Bhashya. Anubhashya is Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's commentary on Caitanya Caritamrita. Amrita Prabha Bhashya is Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's commentary on Caitanya Caritamrita. One of those, there's the introduction is quoting from their commentary. So introduction to 7th chapter, and then 16th chapter, 84th verse.
Okay.
All right.
Yes,
You got that?
you.
Those who want to be those who want to do their homework. Okay. Usually we don't give you homework, right? But you're already doing homework. You're chanting your rounds, Hare Krishna, Krishna, attending other services. So, okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Vishnugada namo namah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu, thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.